Well, congratulations go out. First of all, I want to give a congratulations out to Jerry Bonkowski of NBCSports.com. He often is our guest talking about NASCAR racing, weekly basis here. He recently tweeted out it was his 40th anniversary of his first date with his wife. Took her to see Oh God. Now, there you George Burns, remember John Denver, Terry Garr, okay? Remember that one? I don't, actually, I'm embarrassed to say that I do remember. My grandmother really wanted to see, got into that. Let's see here, but we have, I did want to, in other racing news, congratulations go out to Terry Labonte, one of only 2 NASCAR drivers to ever appear on the Dukes of Hazzard. Okay, the other one's Kelly Yarborough. I won't keep you waiting. Labonte's appearance was as a cameo. Donnie Allison and were inducted into, along with Buddy Parrott, the NMPA Hall of Fame this past weekend in Charlotte, North Carolina. Also, Suitcase Jake Elder in Sunday night ceremony. So I want to give credit for that. So while the football games were going on, there was also some immortality in motorsports being immortalized as well. And I wanted to also, I guess we should mention, Mississippi State defeated the Lady Vols last night, 71-52. Again, it's good to do this if you're a Lady Vols fan on the day of the NFC and AFC championship games when people really aren't paying that much attention to women's basketball, but those who do would know that Mississippi State defeated the Lady Vols 71-52. Of course, Mississippi State was a team that knocked off Connecticut last year, ending their incredible run and eventually allowing South Carolina to win the national championship. Still, I know that the knock here is that the Lady Vols could have been tougher. That's what Holly Warlick is saying. Victoria Vivians with 24 points for the Bulldogs. Mississippi State is now 20-0, and the Lady Vols are 16-3. Remember, it's a young team with that great recruiting class that Holly Warlick brought in. Certainly an improved team. So, growing pains, it's not that surprising here that we should be understanding, I guess, or that we should not be all that surprised. There was, I don't know if this is really that surprising, but when I was coming to this, I wanted to mention this. Gerald Sensabaugh, who's been on the show before, is now suing, if you've heard about this, the Washington County Board of Education and Director of Schools Kimber Halliburton for $5 million while he runs for Sullivan County Mayor and while he is on suspension as football coach. You will remember, and it says he is the former David Crockett High School head football coach, but he filed suit in the U.S. District Court claiming the school board and Halliburton violated his free speech rights when they disciplined him last fall during the football season. Remember, he's 5-2. And, yeah, Sensabaugh, here was a guy who spoke out against some educational practices, some that I agree with him on, in Washington County, in the David Crockett school system. He spoke out via social media about matters and issues of public concern related to the Washington County Public Schools by issuing him a letter of guidance dated October 15, 2007. The suit states the letter of guidance contained allegations directed to Coach Sensabaugh's, hold on a second here, as I change the notes here, professional conduct as head football coach, but were merely a pretext by the board and Director Halliburton to cloak their true motive and intention, which was to punish Coach Sensabaugh for exercising his constitutional right to speak out publicly on matters of public concern. I'm just going to say this about the Sensabaugh thing. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm overcoming something there, so cough in my throat here. This is what I want to say about the Sensabaugh. I have spoken to a lot of people And the disturbing thing that I get out of this is the idea of people saying he should have kept his mouth shut. And to me, what Sensabaugh says he is being is a whistleblower. You know, the open classrooms, which really do stink. I was taught in one of those, and my grades went way down. I mean, I got to side with Sensabaugh in that. He is a guy who's been punished for speaking his mind. He was the most successful football coach David Crockett has had in a long time. Team fell apart when he left. The team, you know, and I don't know, you know, when you are hiring someone of a professional person, someone who has played safety for the Dallas Cowboys, someone who's been elsewhere, yeah, he's very outspoken. When you're hiring an outspoken person, what do you expect? Sensabaugh has, you know, I mean, there was a circumstance with Josh Kite, former athletic director there. And he is no longer the athletic director. And I'm trying to go from memory, and there were some serious allegations there, so I don't feel comfortable right now before I go over my notes and all that, explaining the ins and outs of that circumstance right now. But I want to just say that, you know, here was Sensabaugh. He is being, as what I see, he's being punished for speaking his mind. And I find it very disrupting, and I think it's a reason why perhaps, you know, Crockett hasn't won much on the football field, is that you're supposed to stay in line, do what we say, and never, ever, ever try to improve. That's the gist that I get from this whole thing. I heard people when they spoke, when, you know, he was out there, oh, he's a loudmouth. Maybe he is. He'll never coach again. Really? If I was a coach right now, and I mean, he'll never coach again, you know, there are places bigger than David Crockett High School. Man did play for the Dallas Cowboys. Now he's running for Sullivan County Mayor. If he wins that, maybe he's not going to be coaching. But if he doesn't, you know, who's to say that, I mean, a pro team doesn't, you know, he's got the background, could enter into the NFL fellowship program and be a highly desirable candidate. Especially with the success that he did have leading David Crockett to a 5-2 record. It's a sad ending. I think that there's a lot of pettiness. There might be a little pettiness all the way around. Maybe Sensabaugh could have been used a little more tact. I'll give you that, perhaps. But is that what this whole thing is about? $5 million? Lack of tact? Is that this whole thing? I'm disturbed by the lack of attention, by the lack of attention that the Washington County School Board has given the Sensabaugh situation. I mean, you don't see, you know, what is his status as football coach? Is he going to be, who is the new football coach of David Crockett? I don't know. Did I miss something? Hasn't been, we had Nick Lingerfeld on the show. Nick's an old friend. He was the interim coach. Also coaches baseball at David Crockett now, new baseball coach there. I think he's a, you know, decent Joe, very much so. Probably the best hire they could have made in an interim down there to try to ease things together. But there was a lot of support for Sensabaugh. And it just seems to me that there is something of a power play here. And I do understand that, you know, social media, perhaps Sensabaugh could have used more tact. But he'll tell you he wasn't getting the results that he thought he should be getting through traditional means. We'll just find out what happens. $5 million lawsuit, basically. Yeah, I don't know. Firing someone for speaking their mind. I don't like slavery. You may have heard they don't have it anymore. I am in a business right here where I am paid to speak my mind and give my opinions. So for me to have to imagine what it's like to keep, tight-lipped in that circumstance, I just can't even consider what that is all about. Anyhow, my take on that. Tri-City Sports Now. Remember that the head coach of the East Tennessee State Buccaneers, Steve Forbes, is going to join me in a very short period of time. Of course, we are also, again, the Super Bowl here, talking about that. The Vols also, I was telling you about a quarterback that they are in the mix of. They also are in the midst of possibly getting landing a big-time receiver out of Florida. I will tell you about that. And we'll have even more coming up. I want to also remind you that, and I mentioned this before, Unicoi County, I do want to apologize again. Friday night is very sick and could not broadcast the game for you against Happy Valley. So we will be making a makeup date for our next Unicoi County game very shortly, and we will not miss a broadcast. We had slated 10 female games and 10 male games, and we will be making up the other game somewhere along in the schedule. And it was just impossible for me, and our backup announcer was out of town, so sadly, that's what occurred. Anyway, Steve Forbes is going to be coming up in just a few minutes. I'm Marky Bilson. This is Tri-City Sports Now. Sports Update from NBC is going to come up in just a few seconds. Stick with us on Tri-City Sports Now.